is an exclusive presentation of the Auburn Sports Network, a division of Playfly Sports. Game day on the Auburn Sports Network begins with the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage. Conecuh Sausage is a game day favorite and always great on the grill. Pick up a package your local grocer or visit the Conecuh gift shop in Evergreen, Alabama. Coming up, special guests and features, updates from around campus, a first word from Coach Freeze, a look around Auburn athletics, and a check of the day's action across college football. Featuring voice of the Tigers Andy Burcham, Jason Campbell, Will Herring, and Brad Law. Now, the host of the Tiger Tailgate Show, Paul Ellen.
Thanksgiving is a special and uniquely American holiday. We gather with family for special meals and to literally kick off the holiday season. Unfortunately, many of us, including our extended Auburn family, have a cousin Eddie. And every other year he loads up the old RV and comes smoking into the loveliest village on the plains. Hello again, everyone. War Eagle, and welcome to another Saturday of Auburn Tiger football. Alabama had a sluggish start, but in week 4 they settled on a quarterback. Since then, they have been tough to stop. 2 weeks ago, Auburn won by 38 as a road underdog in Arkansas. Last week, the Tigers came home and lost by 21 as a favorite. Which Auburn team will we see today, and how will they match up in the nation's best intrastate rivalry? Now it's time for the first word from the Auburn locker room. Here's Andy Burcham with head coach Hugh Freeze.
What is the key to have this team ready, have this team emotionally ready, and not get too emotionally quick?
Well, I don't know that you can get too emotionally quick for this one. I think it ought to demand your focus all the time. I do. I think it's got to be. I mean, we didn't have school this week, so we had, longer meetings and more time to spend on watching tape. And, the right type of team is going to focus on this game all week long. And are we there yet totally as a program? Probably not. But do we have enough that feel that way, that are going to just play every single play as it's the most important play they've ever played? I hope so. And, time will tell. I don't think there's any – we better be at our emotional peak.
Listen for Andy's complete conversation with Coach Freeze 30 minutes prior to kickoff, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. Well, Andy, Auburn's 10-6 at Jordan-Hare Stadium since Pat Dye forced the game to go to campuses. Tigers overall 17-13 in campus locations. They're looking for some Jordan-Hare magic today. And really, when you look at the way people have talked about playing in Jordan-Hare, you've seen more from the other side about Jordan-Hare magic than you've really seen from the Auburn side.
I've done a lot of interviews this week, and I'm constantly asked about Jordan-Hare Stadium magic, and primarily with this game. And it's tough for me as someone on our side, Paul, to put my finger on exactly what makes us a magical place in an Iron Bowl. So I'm going to turn it over to the two guys to our right that have been there. They have been on this field, on Pat Dye Field, on a game day against Alabama. What is it, in addition to talent, in addition to the two teams, Jason, that makes this such a magical place for the Auburn Tigers?
Well, the one thing is this game becomes all about heart. You can throw away the schedules, you can throw away the records, the stats, all of that doesn't matter. Like, when you come into this ball game, there's no NFL teams in the state of Alabama. So, this is the type of game you become legendary in. And this is a game that lives with you for the rest of your life. So I always tell guys, man, take advantage of this opportunity now, because you won't always have it. And when you come into this ball game, this game is, once you get between those white lines on that football field, this game comes down to determination and the will to want to win in a game like this, Will.
Yeah, Jason, you can relate being from Mississippi, and you just hit the nail on the head. There is no NFL football in our state. Right. And growing up in Opelika and in this Auburn community and in the Auburn family, this was everything. I had no idea how big the NFL was. I thought college football was everything, and the NFL kind of existed alongside kind of second fiddle. But in our state, like this game matters so much. And when you move here from another place, you got to pick. If you don't have an allegiance to one, there is no lukewarm riding the fence. That lukewarm gets spit out.
And there's a lot of new guys on this team because of the transfer portal. So how do you try to illustrate to the guys that have never been in an Iron Bowl what this game is all about?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say because of the transfer portal mixed in with high school kids, it makes it a little bit more difficult, because when we came in here, it was drilled in you from day one what this game meant, and you got a chance to learn it from the guys that came before you. Where the transfer guys, you got guys that are here only for 1 year, so this is their only chance to play in this game. So it's not like they have a lot of experience about being in this atmosphere. So I think for them, from a coaching staff, it's on you to kind of get these guys to learn about the history of the game, not just now, but who came before you and why this game is important. That's what makes you play hard, because you know the history of this ball game.
I know it doesn't seem like 20 years ago, but you had a guy from this state. 2003 was the first time he got a chance to play in this game. And the first time you gave him the ball, he took it 80. He's the kind of guy that had a little personality that drilled into you and Ronnie and some of the other out-of-state guys what this one meant.
Yeah, because Lack, he was Mr. Alabama in the state here, coming out of high school, and he didn't play in the first 2 Iron Bowls. He got
was hurt both times.
Hurt both times, and I remember we went down to Tuscaloosa in 02, and I remember him getting interviewed on the sideline, and you can hear the emotion in his voice when you go back and watch the TV copy of how bad it hurt him not to be playing in that game.
Right.
But his first carry touching the ball in 03 was electric. That's the Go Crazy Cadillac, saying, and right then the crowd just went bananas. It was a night game as well.
Let me give you a story about that. Cadillac's oldest son was in Shelby Bramblett's classroom 2 years ago.
Wow.
She didn't know it was Cadillac's son until one time his phone went off, and it was Rod's call of "Go Crazy Cadillac, go crazy." How about that?
That's good.
That's a classic.
That is. Now, Will, you were one of those Alabama guys who were charged with instilling in the other guys what this game meant.
Yeah, as a coaching staff and as a locker room, you've got to start instilling that day one when these guys get to campus. You can't wait for the week of the Iron Bowl to notify them of the importance of this game. But when I stepped foot on Auburn's campus, there was a clock in the locker room of 287 days, 14 hours, and 17 minutes until kickoff. That seriously, like there was that clock always.
That reminder.
So year round we talk. We would do Alabama reps where we thought we were done running the hill or running 110s, and Yox was like, "All right, we got some Bama reps," and we were like, "God!" But we heard about it all year long. So by the time it was the Alabama game, we're kind of ticked off. I'm still mad at Yox for making me run them extra daggum hills for these Alabama reps.
Andy, this is not unlike the game 2 years ago when Alabama was 10-1. Auburn was 6-5, kind of in a program in transition. And frankly, Auburn had 2 chances to win that game late. It wound up being a 4 overtime loss. But this game kind of similar in the way the 2 teams are coming in.
Well, there's no question, though, that this Auburn team has had to flip the script from this past weekend. We've talked about that game ad nauseum, just how tough that game was and how it made no sense. You cannot let New Mexico State beat you twice. Alabama's too good for that here today. You've got to be able to flip the script, get ready for a very good team that is playing its best ball of the season and with a great deal on the line. There's a great deal on the line for both of these teams, but Alabama has a chance to win an SEC championship next week. It still is in the running if it wins out to go to the playoffs at this point. And it's up to Auburn to try and ruin that season right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. These last couple of years, sometimes it seems like these games come down to either somebody's going to an SEC championship and has a lot that's riding on it. But my thing is, like you said, last week's game, man, you can't lose that game at home.
Right.
You had so much momentum riding. You had 3 SEC game wins in a row, and then all of a sudden you got a momentum game to come in here today and have a chance to knock off a team that's playing like a top 3 team in the nation. And you lose that type of game last week, so you got to show up today and show a redemption and show heart and restore yourselves back into this Auburn program.
All right, we'll talk more about this particular game and the matchups. We also have a lot of special guests we want to get to, and that's what's on the menu, presented by Whataburger. The incredible texture and taste of the Whataburger Chili Cheeseburger has returned. Layers of tasty chili, crunchy corn chips, and crisp onions combine to create a delicious comfort food masterpiece available for a limited time. Cool weather on the way, and chili cheeseburger will hit the spot. On the menu today, Harbor CEO Dean Mario Eden will be with us. Former Tiger players Bob Harris, Carlos Dansby, and Kerryon Johnson will all be here on the stage, as well as former Tiger coach Philip Lally. So stay with us for all of that coming up when the Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tackle your to-do list this season and find the right Aetna Medicare plan for you in your home state of Alabama. With Aetna Medicare Advantage plans, you can get a $0 monthly plan premium with hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage. Plans also include dental, vision, and an over-the-counter benefit. Be the star quarterback of your health. Call us for a personalized coverage review now. 1-833-771-7542. TTY 711. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. RSNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
Who out there likes to eat chicken? Did you know that when it comes to chicken production, Alabama rules the roost? In fact, we're ranked second in the country in broiler production. That's meat-type chickens, with nearly 2,600 poultry farm families raising more than 1 billion birds a year. Alabama's poultry industry adds more than $15 billion a year to the state's economy and provides jobs for almost 90,000 Alabamians. So be sure to prepare your favorite chicken dish this football season.
The sweet smell of victory and grilled burgers still hang in the air. Your tailgate was a big win thanks to your Ford F-150 truck. With available Pro Power on board, you used your F-150 as a mobile generator. That kept the celebration going long after the final whistle. See your local Ford dealer for great offers on a Ford F-150, the official truck of the Auburn Tigers. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Beneath the sun-kissed sky. What a beautiful day for football. Auburn ready to kick it off against Alabama. About 2 hours and 45 minutes away as we continue to count it down to kickoff. Paul Ellen, Andy Burcham here. Hard to believe.
My goodness.
It's the 10th anniversary of the Kick Six. Now, Andy, I know where I was. I was standing behind Rod and Stan in the booth. So I didn't get in any of the pictures, but I was part of that whole thing with Patrick Tisdale back there. What is your biggest memory of the Kick Six?
I was in Las Vegas covering Auburn women's basketball. They were getting ready to play Iowa State at a casino for the championship game of the tournament. So I'm watching that game in my hotel room. Jan had been with me on the trip. She's flying back without TVs in the seats. And somehow I'm able to text to her what's going on, and I'm trying to text the Kick Six call. She had an Alabama fan sitting next to her, looking over her shoulder, and at one point after Chris Davis goes 109 yards, she turned to the man and said, "Do you want to know what happened?" And he said, "He ran that back for a touchdown." She said, "War Eagle." And the guy just put his head down on his tray table. So that's my memory of the Kick Six call.
That's a pretty good one.
Yes,
now, what
indeed.
happened with your group in Vegas?
Well, it was a great game. I walked down to set up for our ball game. The third place game was going on, and the officials I knew, and as I'm walking in, the officials give me a standing ovation because of the Kick Six. I had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Well, it's amazing how that changed things around college football.
Absolutely.
You know, the first hour of Tiger Tailgate Show brought to you today by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
A limited number of men's basketball single game tickets are still available. Don't miss the exhilarating action at Neville Arena as Bruce Pearl and the Tigers play in the most electric atmosphere in college basketball. Fill the jungle during holiday breaks when Auburn hosts Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Chattanooga, and Penn. Tickets start as low as $30. Visit AUBTIX.com to make sure you're there to witness Auburn men's basketball at Neville Arena. That's AUBTIX.com.
What does commitment sound like?
At Alabama Power, we hear you, we see you, and celebrate you on long practice days, game days that bring us together, and every day in between. Your commitment to making an impact for the team, for the fans. That inspires us to be at our best for the communities we champion across the state. We're committed to this kind of energy. That's power for a better Alabama. Alabama Power is a proud supporter of the Auburn Tigers.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Children's of Alabama reminds you that every child's head injury should be treated like a serious injury until a doctor says it's not. In fact, the CDC estimates some 4 million sports and recreation-related concussions occur each year. Even a minor fall or collision may be a concern. Symptoms typically include headaches, unsteadiness, confusion, or sleepiness. To find out what to do in case of a suspected concussion, visit childrensal.org/concussion and always dial 911 in case of an emergency.
And welcome back to the Tiger Tailgate Show outside the east side of Jordan-Hare Stadium, just across from the Cam Newton's statue here. Paul Ellen, Andy Burcham, Will Herring, and Jason Campbell all with us. Injury report time, and this is a good thing, Andy. Auburn, for Week 12, a relatively healthy team. Lost a couple of guys early on, but as far as who's been playing and contributing the last month or so, this is a fairly healthy football team.
And I think getting Avery Jones back today, so they have a decision. We may see both Avery Jones and Connor Lew at the center spot for Auburn today. So that is an addition for this team. It is remarkable throughout this season, other than Mosiah Nasili Kite, really the guys that they lost, they have back, and they're playing well for Auburn right now.
That's the injury report brought to you by East Alabama Health. Their team of first responders are proud to provide first aid care at today's game and at every Auburn athletic event. Well, Jason, we got to flush this just like the team did. Before last week, Auburn was playing as well as anybody in the country, and last week it just looked like a different team. Both you and Will have been on teams that have had their ups and downs. How do you regain the momentum? How do you put that out of your mind?
Well, that's the thing about sports. It teaches you a lot about life. In life you have to have those redemption stories where you have a bad day, you got to move on to the next day and not take something and don't make a bad situation worse. And what I mean by that is, for this Auburn football team, this still is a growing football team. It's still a team that's trying to find themselves and mature along the way. My thing is, what did you learn from last week? You watch the film, you look at it yourself and you see what you're putting on tape. Is that you? You got to answer those questions. And even from a coaching staff, they're asking themselves as well, what do we do or not do to get these guys prepared to play? So I think as a unit, you learn from a game like that so it doesn't happen to you again. But the best thing about it, you get a chance to come out here today in the loudest atmosphere in front of all these people and show a redemption that who you were those three-game winning streak, that's the team that's advancing, not the team that showed up last week.
And for me, Paul, I think there's a big difference between winning a game and having a winning culture.
Yeah.
And a winning culture doesn't allow three good-looking, better-looking games, 3 wins in a row, to all of a sudden you just assume, hey, we're going to just show up here and get a W. A winning culture, goes down man to man and lines up individually. Like, I've got to win this play against this guy. Keldrick Falk has got to beat their left tackle or their right tackle this play. And man to man, you've got to find a way to challenge yourself even in a game where it seems like an inferior opponent like last week going into it.
Andy, we talked about this. How much does this game well, first, John Cohen was with us 2 weeks ago, and he talked about the point, this is not an established program yet. Out of the 55 guys they took on the road to Arkansas, about 35 of them had never met each other 6 months before. You're not an established. You don't have a foundation yet, so you expect a few hiccups along the way.
Well, and last week was a big one.
It was more than a hiccup. Yeah.
And it came at a point of the season that in many regards makes no sense. So you find out about your ball club this week. How does this team respond to that against your biggest rival, against a team that's playing as well as anyone in the country right now on your home field, a place where you laid an egg a week ago? How does this team respond today? We won't know that until we get out there and watch them play against this Alabama ball club, Jason.
Yeah, and I think the first 7 minutes of this ball game is important. And if you know Alabama, 53 of the last 54 games that they won, they scored first. And in Auburn, over this year, we have not been a good team in chase mode. You know, we're a better team when we can score first or get ahead. I think if we score first and find a way to slow down their rushing attack, I know a lot of people like to talk about Milroe and what he does, but that rushing attack is where they start at, is that offensive line. They feel good being the biggest offensive line in all the sports. Those guys, you got to stop the run game and make them one-dimensional. And today, Andy, I don't think you rush to sack. I think you rush to contain.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, sometimes you rush to sack. You can get out of your rush lanes, and then there will go Milroe for a gain of 15, 20. But if you rush to the point where you keep him in the pocket and force him to have to throw the ball from the pocket, I think you have a chance to win this game.
What is the key to that, Will? I mean, you've been in that spot where you've had a guy that if he gets outside the pocket, can really do some damage.
Yeah, Milroe may be one of the most athletic guys on the field when he's got the ball in his hands, and you absolutely have to account for his legs.
Right.
Defensively, we've got to come to play. I mean, the Ole Miss game, to make them punt 6 or 7 times in a row during the middle of that game, that's the defense I want to see. I didn't love the outcome at the end of the game. UGA, Georgia, same thing. Our defense came to play those 2 games, and we've got to show up on defense like we did those 2 games. And I'm confident our offense is going to come to play and give us a chance. But defensively, we've got to contain Milroe's legs.
You know, you look at the Alabama offense. They didn't want Milroe to be the guy, apparently, through the first 4 games. And finally, after 4 games, they settled. They said he has to be the guy. So they stuck him out there. And to their credit, they have improved dramatically since Game 5 as an offensive team.
Yeah, they let him play. You know, they at first they tried to take his best attribute away, and that was, you know, stay in the pocket and try to go through your progressions. But now, as soon as the gates open, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and that adds another dimension because you can put a spy guy, which takes a guy out of coverage and have to worry about him. But that spy guy, Will, as you know, better be somebody that's just as athletic as he is. Otherwise, you're just losing a guy in coverage.
And that's the problem with the spy. Yeah, you got finding somebody in the middle that's as athletic as he is.
Here's his numbers in his last 3 games just as a passer. 43 of 61, 70.5%. He's thrown for 650 yards and 6 scores through the air, adding 31 rushes for 190 yards and 7 more touchdowns on the ground just in his last 3 games. So when they finally settled on Jalen Milroe, he is now he is the guy for Alabama at this quarterback spot.
Well, so you look at Auburn. Auburn's situation, the Tigers, 3rd in the league in rushing. They have run the ball really, really well throughout most of the year, especially against Georgia and in that 3-game win streak. They didn't run the ball at all last week. What do you got to do to run the ball against this team? Because Alabama only gives up just a little over 115 yards per game rushing.
Well, we'll know as well as I know, running the football is something that no defense wants to give up. You rather give up a 300-yard passing game than get rushed on for 150. And last week we only had, 60 yards rushing?
Yeah.
And that was the biggest concern for me was we were a team at the time averaging 204 yards, 207 yards per game rushing, and we was only able to mile up 60 yards. That we didn't just get beat last week, Will. We got dominated up front in the trenches. And you know as well, this game is won in the trenches. Defensive line and offensive line is where this game is going to settle at today.
Yeah, and it was very confusing last week's performance when we saw our guys go into Arkansas against a pretty good defense led by Travis Williams. He's brought that defense a long ways over in Arkansas. And so watching our offense progress 2 weeks ago, that's the offense I want to see. Because you got to be balanced. You got to give it some on the RPO. You got to pull it with the quarterback. You got to give it some. You got to throw it some. So same thing with throwing the ball. You got to stretch the field at times, and you got to throw laterally at times. And so if we can be balanced, and against Georgia, our quarterback's legs played into factor of that rushing performance over 200 yards. That's going to be paramount tonight. We got to utilize his legs as well.
And you can shorten the game by doing that
yes,
also. So, all right, stay with us. When we come back, we'll check the Yellowwood scoreboard. After that, a former Tiger All-American who had one of his best games against Alabama in Birmingham. His back still hurts from that one, but he did have one of the great games against Alabama. Bob Harris will be with us. Stay with us. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
It takes hard work to be the best in the game. Planning, commitment, resilience, sweat. That's why Old Dominion Freight Line, the #1 national LTL carrier for quality, works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of Auburn Athletics, helping the world keep promises.
Hey, I'm Charles Barkley. Call for a Redmont and water at bars and restaurants throughout the great state of Alabama. Redmont Vodka, available at select ABC stores and package stores. Redmont Vodka is 8 times distilled, gluten-free, and is made from non-GMO corn. Looking to support a local business? Redmont Distilling is Alabama proud and minority owned. Learn more online at redmontdistilling.com.
At Austal USA, we're building ships that protect and defend our nation. Building innovative ships requires innovative people. We're looking for Tiger fans to join the build. We offer 4 10-hour-day work schedules for our production employees, comprehensive benefits, and individualized training programs that make our dynamic workforce even stronger. Visit austaljobs.com to apply today and build a strong future. Austal USA, innovative on land, exceptional at sea.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Time for our first check of the Yellowwood scoreboard today. Big game going on in the Big House in Ann Arbor. Michigan scored first. Ohio State has answered. The Wolverines lead the Buckeyes 7-3 as they're in the final couple of minutes in the first quarter in that one. Louisville, ranked number 10, trying to set up a big showdown in the ACC championship game next week. Out to a good start. They lead Kentucky 7-0. That game being played in Louisville. They have just started the second quarter there. LSU still whining about having an 11 o'clock game. The number 14 Bayou Bengals trailing Texas A&M 10-7. They are midway through the second quarter already down in Baton Rouge. Elsewhere, taking a look around the scoreboard, Indiana leading Purdue 14-6. They are in the second quarter. Middle Tennessee State leads Sam Houston 10-6. Early second quarter action there. UConn leads UMass 9-0 as they play just starting the second period. Pitt leads Duke 10-3. Of course, Duke's coach rumored for the Texas A&M job, Mike Elko. They're in the second quarter as well. UCF leading Houston down in Orlando 13-10. They're playing early second quarter. SMU, coached by Rhett Lashley, blowing out Navy out in Dallas 28-7 to score there at the end of the first quarter. So that's a look around the Yellowwood scoreboard as we continue. Troy trailing Southern Miss in Hattiesburg by a score of 10-7. And Miami leads Ball State by a score of 14-9. Now that's your look at the Yellowwood scoreboard. A reminder, the first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Live Sports Radio, bringing you inside Neville Arena for all the action of men's and women's basketball game day with no delay. Every dunk, block shot, and steal, plus all the analysis from our Hall of Fame coaches, all with no delay. $25 new or $10 to reprogram the one you already have. Also, use it for every broadcast of home baseball and softball games this spring, all with no delay. With Live Sports Radio, presented by Alpha Insurance.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for... Aw, Jim,
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
We're still on the air.
Hello, this is Coach Hugh Freeze. They say Coke Zero sugar is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Find out for yourself. War Eagle.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
When you see the SEC student athlete, it's easy to picture the swing, the stance, the form. But look closer, and you'll see the heart, the brain, the clutch lab partner, the avid two-stepper, the pride of a hometown, and a little brother's hero. More than students, more than athletes. In the SEC, it just means more.
Always just a little bit of chaos around the Iron Bowl, and it is no different this year. Big crowd, a big cheer just went up as they announced that the gates were about to open, and so this big crowd ready to file into Jordan-Hare Stadium. Brad Law, Jason Campbell, Will Herring, and Bob Harris, one of the great defensive backs in Auburn football history. And Bob looks like he could still knock the devil out of somebody, too, right now. Let me tell you. One of the greats, Bob Harris, with us. Bob, War Eagle, thank you for coming today.
War Eagle, glad to be here. What a beautiful day to beat Bama.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
It's always a beautiful day to do that, for sure. Let's talk about 1982. Let's start there. You were a team captain on that team, Coach Dye's second Auburn team. Before we get to the Iron Bowl that year, what are your memories of year two with Coach Dye and sort of the expectations and the thoughts coming into that season?
Yeah, I think it was just a maturation process for us as a football team, and really getting used to Coach Dye and the different things that he installed into the program. And we also had an infusion of some great talent that came in that year with that freshman class that really elevated the preseason hopes of really everybody that was on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob, I'll say this. First of all, thanks for War Eagle for all what you've done for Auburn as well. But you used to play this game in Birmingham. Talk about that experience, because Will and I, we got a chance to play it here on campus, but you got a chance to play it in a neutral site. What was it like in a neutral site?
Yeah, I'm very jealous of you guys that I never got to play the Iron Bowl here, because it's totally different. Let me tell you that. It was supposed to be a 50-50 split, but it never felt that way as an Auburn player. It was always more Alabama. They played more of their home games in Legion Field than they did in Tuscaloosa back then. So it always felt we may have wore the blue jerseys, but it never really felt like the home atmosphere until maybe '82 when we won the game, and then it felt a little different. But and that's one of the great things I think Coach Dye did was get that game on campus, because Alabama did not want to come down here and play us, because I think they knew what would happen if they ever did. And we've held serve for the most of those games while they've come down here.
Bob, talk about how the game has changed. So I just think about back just 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago when I was here, how offensively the game has changed so much. So I'm just curious, like in 1982, what would the offensive scheme? What were y'all going against week in and week out in the early 80s?
Yeah, mostly the wishbone. A lot of wishbone teams. Alabama ran the wishbone. We ran the wishbone. And there was the pro eye setup. Georgia had that with Herschel Walker. It was a tailback offense or a wishbone attack. Really, there was very few spread teams that threw the ball, unless it was into the game or you're way behind. Teams just didn't spread out like they do now.
Right. So typical Iron Bowl, they're throwing it 10 or 12 times a game.
Yeah, something like that. In fact, I think in 1982, our quarterback Randy Campbell, he would have led the nation in pass efficiency, but he didn't have enough attempts to qualify.
Really?
That's wild. That's wild. Just 41 years ago, and I don't know how many pass attempts Alabama had in '82, but you got your 2 of them. Talk a little bit about the interceptions and that game itself, and how much the narrative of Auburn having not won in nearly 10 years. I mean, how much of a talking point was that in '82?
Now, it was a talking point, especially for the group of seniors. And Coach Dye, was his second year, and he famously said, "How long is it going to take to beat Alabama?" And he said 60 minutes, and he couldn't have been more foreseeing than that. But no, we wanted in the streak, and for me, and I think that's one of the challenges of the modern day players with the transfer portal. I grew up in Georgia. The game against Georgia meant more to me personally my freshman and sophomore year. But by the time I became a junior and senior, and I saw the impact it had on the fans, the students, the university, I wanted to beat Bama more than anything, and we wanted to do that before we left because it had been 9 years, and it did. It played a big role, and we'd played them close leading up to the '82 game, and we knew if we didn't beat ourselves, we could go toe-to-toe with them.
Your first interception set up a touchdown, Bob. The second one, you come flying through the air like a kamikaze pilot. Which one, if you had to value one more than the other, which one do you value more?
Well, probably the value to the game, the first one. Gerald Williams was rushing off the end. He hit Walter Lewis as he threw the ball. Keith Jackson called it a wounded duck that I happened to catch. We ended up set up a touchdown. The one at the end of the game was more along the lines of, we thought it would seal the game, but Bo actually fumbled on a third down play, so Bama got one more shot at it. But both of them were very, very rewarding, and it's kind of, I think that's one thing if I could talk to the players, and I know you guys know this, it's a legacy game. I still, when people meet me or you intercepted 2 passes, and that's why I'm sitting here today, I'm pretty sure, against Alabama in 1982. So you can create a legacy for yourself in this type of game.
Bob, I'll second that. What you just said. Ask Trey Smith how about legacy. I mean, a guy that's from Florida came here, had no idea what the Iron Bowl meant, but had a magical game against Alabama, and it just means more. It means more to the people in this state, regardless of what side you're on, and 100% know what you're talking about.
Bob, outside of Iron Bowls, your first start was a fairly memorable one for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I started it was actually on my 18th birthday over in Starkville against Mississippi State. I started at cornerback. We had some injuries in the secondary, and I played that year in every game on special teams and a little bit when we'd get ahead. But Dave Marlowe, who was all SEC quarterback, had actually thrown for 450 yards against Alabama the week before. They had an outstanding wide receiver, Marty McDowell, and no matter where I lined up, it seemed like 88 McDowell would find me, and he'd come to me versus me going to him. But I was fortunate, had 2 interceptions. We ended up winning the game 6-0.
Yeah.
Shut them out over there in Starkville.
How about that? How many tackles did you have in that game? You remember?
I think it was 18.
Yeah.
I've been told it's still the record for the second most solo tackles in a game.
That's right.
Career picks, Bob. How many career picks did you have?
I think I had 11.
All over the place.
I was about to say, two picks in 2 different games. He's racking up.
Yeah.
And I would like to say I'd had more, but again, we were playing Wishbone team.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. Imagine if they threw it around this year.
Exactly. Probably had more. Bob, talk about this, though. Rest in peace, Pat Dye. He always came on the set during Iron Bowl week.
That's right.
And so can you give us one of your best speeches one of your best moments when you heard him speak before a game that just kind of lit the fire in y'all, or just something that's always hung with you all these years?
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much a pregame speech as it was the hard work. I think he really bought into the Auburn creed in terms of, we believe in work, hard work. And that was one of the things Coach Dye, he said in our first team meeting, no one is going to outwork us here. They may have more talent, but they're never going to outwork us. And that held true when I was in the NFL. The pro scouts would come around, and they would always stop by my locker room, and they go, "Man, nobody practices harder than Auburn in the whole country." And I said, "Yeah, I believe that." But it was just, I think that was his approach. I think that was the way he was raised. We're all given a certain amount of God-given talent, but work ethic is probably the most important thing, and that's what I take away from my 2 years with Coach Dye. Was we did the early morning stuff. We didn't have lights on the practice field back then, so there was many a day we would come over here, they would turn the lights on, they'd say, "Hey, you got to hold dinner at Sewell Hall because we're going to be here a while till we get this right." And yeah, that was a big part of it, the work ethic.
Good stuff. Bob, what are you up to nowadays?
I'm in pharmaceutical sales. I've been doing that after playing a few years in the NFL. I coached a few years up at University of North Alabama, and then I've been in pharma sales for about 30 years. Live up on Lake Martin, I have a great family, a brand new grandfather.
That's
my beautiful wife, my daughter, and her new husband, Zay. My niece is out there, and my sister-in-law Tina, and my grandson who's not here yet, but we have a 5-month-old grandson named Harris, so we're excited. Darby, my daughter, is actually the Tiger Paw coach. You'll see her down there on the sidelines of football and basketball games.
Wonderful. We really appreciate you stopping by, talking to us for a little while, Bob. War Eagle to you.
War Eagle.
All right.
Good to see you, buddy.
Auburn All-America Bob Harris joining us. Fitting that we talk about the Picks for Kids program on Bob's segment. It's back for its 12th season. Chick-fil-A is donating $1,000 to Children's of Alabama for every interception by the Tigers. The Picks for Kids program benefits nearly 2,000 kids each month in the Hearing and Speech Center at Children's, War Eagle, and Eat More Chicken. Stay with us. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Hey, I'm Charles Barkley. Call for a Red Mont and water at bars and restaurants throughout the great state of Alabama. Red Mont Vodka, available at select ABC stores and package stores. Red Mont Vodka is 8 times distilled, gluten-free, and is made from non-GMO corn. Looking to support a local business? Red Mont Distilling is Alabama proud and minority owned. Learn more online at redmontdistilling.com.
Auburn Bank presents Championship Moments.
Auburn and Missouri met in the 2013 SEC Championship game. It was a back-and-forth battle until midway through the third quarter when Corey Grant dashed into the end zone from 2 yards out to give the Tigers a 38-34 lead, and they'd never trail again. By the latter stages of the fourth quarter, Auburn led by 10 and forced a turnover on downs deep in Missouri territory.
At the Missouri 13-yard line, straight ahead, Mason to the 10, breaks a tackle to the 5, he's in! You may put this one on ice! 58-42 with 4:22 to go.
Auburn's 59 points remain an SEC championship record, and the victory punctuated a remarkable turnaround for a program that went from winless in conference play in 2012 to league champions in 2013. I'm Jacob Hillman, and this has been another championship moment presented by Auburn Bank, champions of you.
For generations, Alabama Extension has played a vital role in bettering the world around us. And by taking information discovered through Auburn University research to the people, we are empowering communities to tackle the challenges of tomorrow in a rapidly changing world. As educators, Extension is a partner in every county, bringing practical ways to better our homes, farms, people, and overall way of life. Alabama Extension, extending knowledge, improving lives. Discover more by visiting aces.edu.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Radlaw, Jason Campbell on this 2-minute drill. Let's talk about some Iron Bowl heroes here, Jason. We mentioned Trey Smith.
Yeah.
He's a guy. This was a vastly talented running back out of the state of Florida, but he was given the opportunity in that 2002 game. Patrick Nix in 1993 coming off the bench and throwing the pass to Frank Sanders. Chris Davis, the most famous of them all. I mean, this is an opportunity to make a name for yourself.
Oh, yeah, this is a legacy game. We always talk about it. You know, there's no NFL teams. And then on top of that is the hard part, if you're a transfer guy, this may be your only chance to play against Alabama. You may have 1 year and done. But if you're some of these guys as a freshman, sophomore, like your legacy starts now. Yeah. And you come out in this ball game and anything can happen. You got to be ready for every scenario. You can't get caught sleeping in this game. You just never know. Who would have thought when Chris Davis, Coach Saban, argued for 1 second to be put back on the clock, and then at first Auburn was lined up the punt block, and then the timeout happened. They discussed to put Chris Davis back deep, and then you saw what happened once he was able to return it. So you just never know.
You know, and there's other examples as well. Ryan Davis, who had a tremendous career at Auburn, but maybe best remembered for his Iron Bowl in 17. When you hear the name Sean Shivers now, the first thing you think of
is the helmet coming off.
So, yeah, there's an opportunity here.
Yeah, we need it, too. This is a game where I think our kids going to come out motivated. You know, you had a game last week where you consider a letdown, and you don't want to have that bad taste in your mouth. So in order to create another taste, you got to show up and play hard today.
No question about it. The first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our game picks are coming up in 2 minutes. Jason, you gotta chase a little bit. You gotta make up some ground. A little behind. We'll give you the standings and the picks in 2 minutes. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Presenting the all-new Aubie's Kids Club. Benefits include an exclusive Aubie-branded swag box or bag, t-shirt, membership card, access to exclusive Kids Club events, as well as free admission to non-conference baseball, softball, and women's basketball games. Members also get a monthly newsletter from Aubie, a special invitation to Aubie's birthday party, and a personalized birthday card. 2 membership options are available. Learn more and register at aubieskidsclub.com.
War Eagle, it's a great day for Auburn Tigers to get vaccinated. Many children and adults that delayed vaccinations during the pandemic are still behind schedule. It's crucial that we take steps to get everyone back on track with their routine immunizations. Children and teens can still catch up on their vaccinations even if they start late. Make sure you and your family are all up to date on all recommended vaccines, including COVID-19 and flu. Let's all do our part to get back on track. Don't wait. Vaccinate. For more information, visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM.
When we say we're an everything school, we mean it. Auburn University isn't just home to the best athletics program in the nation, it's also home to the best student-centered engineering experience in America. And that's not just a slogan, it's a promise. The Samuel Ginn College of Engineering ranks as the top engineering college in the state of Alabama, while also ranking as one of the best public engineering colleges in the nation. Tomorrow's leaders, innovators, and world changers begin at the Ginn College of Engineering. Visit today, eng.auburn.edu.
Thank you, Auburn, for over 40 years of business. Since day one at Guthrie's, we've been serving up the best golden fried chicken fingers, hand-chopped coleslaw, crinkle-cut fries, and our signature Guthrie sauce. Often imitated, never duplicated. We have 4 Auburn locations to serve you, including South College and our downtown location off East Glen Avenue, which is open until 3 a.m. every night. Fresh, hot, and fast. That's the Guthrie's promise. To find the nearest Guthrie's to you, visit guthrie'schicken.com.
It is the Iron Bowl edition of the Tiger Tailgate Show from outside Jordan-Hare Stadium on the loveliest village. We have the whole crew here: Brad Law, Paul Ellen, Andy Burcham, Jason Campbell, Will Herring. Lots of great guests coming up next hour as well, so stick around for that. It's time now for the Guthrie's game picks. Guthrie's thanks the Auburn family for over 40 years of business. Since day one, fresh, hot, and fast has always been the Guthrie's promise. Find the nearest Guthrie's to you. Visit guthrie'schicken.com. While we're on the subjects of picks,
yes,
I have some special audio that I want to play for you guys, and I want you to see if you know where this comes from, if you can identify the audio. So Quinn Burkeen in our Skyview Auburn Sports Network studios, play it.
Check this out. One choice. Pick me.
Anybody know what that's from?
No clue.
Huh?
It's him, I think.
Sounds like Smooth.
It does sound like Smooth. You know why? Do you know what that's from, Jason?
Yeah, it was the gosh, it was the old commercials they used to have in the NFL. That's as much as I remember.
Yeah, it's like for fantasy picks,
yeah, fantasy
right?
football.
It was for fantasy picks.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yes.
Jason throws 2 footballs, and they bounce off of each other, and they go to receivers.
Oh, I
who are
remember
running
that.
around.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
there
that.
You go.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fitting.
How many takes?
It's about 15.
Okay.
But I'm a little disappointed right now, though.
Why?
Thanksgiving was 2 days ago. We've yet to talk about
Cranberry sauce?
What did
Food?
we eat? Is cranberry sauce a side or
It's
is
a
it
side.
a dish?
It's a sauce.
It's a sauce.
It's a sauce. Is what it is.
It's a
But,
side.
you know, this argument can
Thank you,
continue
Will.
for days.
Thank you.
You know.
Look, we have a 2-minute drill. We can talk Thanksgiving food in the 2 minutes.
And I'm waiting on my brownies.
So we have cookies here, by the way.
I don't want cookies. I want brownies. I like brownies.
You do like brownies.
Sound like my 10-year-old son. Well, I don't want that. I want this instead.
These are old mama cookies.
Yeah. There's Kick 6 themed.
There's
Yes,
Danny
they are.
Lindsay out there. He might take a brownie.
There's one with the entire text of the Kick 6 call on it.
Which is hard to do,
Yes,
by the
it
way.
is.
All right, let's get into our picks. Last week, Will went 4-0.
Let's go.
Jason,
Wow.
Andy, Paul, all
Does that
3
put me
and
in
1.
reach?
No.
Well, yeah, everybody's within reach because point values are doubled this week.
Okay.
That's a new rule this year.
And
I
they're-
like that.
And
Love
they're,
that.
And they're tripled for the bowl game.
Oh, my.
Okay.
So,
right.
Andy is in the lead, 32-12. Paul, second place, 31-13. Sideline crew, 30-14. A game back in third. Jason is in fourth place, 29-15. You're just
Dead
3
last.
games out of first.
Hey,
You better start chasing.
And point values are doubled. So let's get into our picks today. 2 o'clock Central out in Las Vegas. San Jose State is at UNLV. The Runnin' Rebs, coached by Barry Odom, the former Missouri head coach, and Arkansas D.C. UNLV's had 2 10-win seasons ever. They forfeited 1984, so 74 is like the only legit 10-win season they've ever had.
Jerry Tarkanian the coach of that team?
He was the coach of the basketball team in 84, but
that's my point.
Yeah. So, UNLV, do they get to 10 wins today? We'll start with Andy.
Yes.
He says yes.
Absolutely.
All right, Paul.
100% yes. UNLV, 2.5-point favorite, so it's really a pick'em game in Vegas, but UNLV's going to win that. That's a big game for them.
All right, Will.
UNLV all the way. I was unaware that these later games count double, so I feel like I'm still in it.
We were all
I'm
unaware
still
of
in
that
it.
until
So
right now.
I'm not going to just bet against Andy. I'm going UNLV.
All right, very good. Jason, clean
I
sweep.
honestly think this is a game you should have to pick the spread points.
No.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
Because that's the only way you can catch up.
You go right ahead and
It's
do
not
that.
the only
if
way
you like.
you can
That's
catch
the
up.
only way you can catch
You
up.
can
We
go
should
out
tweak
on a
the
limb.
rules.
The best games have been played besides this one today.
Smooth. You play your own game there.
UNLV.
All right, going with the crowd on that. 6 o'clock down in Gainesville. Quarterback issues for both teams. Number 5, Florida State, only a 6.5-point favorite against Florida down in the swamp. Jason, we'll start with you.
Well, I know Andy's probably going to take Florida State, so I'm going to go with Florida, even though their quarterback is out.
He does like
and
the home
Florida
team.
State's quarterback is out, but I'm going with the home team in this one.
All right, Will.
FSU, they're down a quarterback. Did you say Florida's quarterback is down as well?
Yeah. Why did I say that?
FSU's the best team, hands down. I'm going with FSU.
All right.
Do you agree with that, Ronnie?
Yeah,
Because
Ronnie
he's picking
Brown.
for
Ronnie,
you.
Ronnie, unless my veteran
they get
teammate
together?
over here, FSU or Florida, what are we thinking? It's in the swamp. Both teams are without their quarterback.
This
What are we
is
thinking?
phone a friend, and he doesn't have a microphone.
That's what I was thinking.
What did he say?
That was what my gut
What
told
did he
me.
say? He said
pick-
FSU? I said Florida.
You said Florida. Okay. All right.
That's all I need. I just need y'all to go FSU so I can catch up.
Paul, what do you think?
You know, my heart says Gators, but my head says Florida State. I'm going with Florida State.
You're going Florida State. Andy, what about you?
FSU.
Oh, so Jason can make up some ground. He's out there by himself on that Gator limb.
On the other hand,
He could also
Right
lose
at
a little
Gene
more.
Brown here with Reese.
All right, number 24, Clemson is at South Carolina. Clemson, a 7-point favorite. They got embarrassed in this game last year. Will, you start us this time.
Clemson's playing better ball as of late. I'm going with Dabo and the boys.
All right. Paul.
It's at South Carolina. It's probably the last game for Spencer Rattler before he transfers again as a graduate. I'm going with South Carolina. Spencer Rattler's going to go out on top.
That's tasty. Andy, what about you?
Clemson wins this one.
Look at you picking the road teams the last two. Jason?
Who did Paul say? I mean,
Paul
Andy
said,
say?
I said Clemson.
Andy said Clemson.
I said South Carolina.
See, I was going Clemson.
Yeah?
But I'm going to have to reach again here.
Go ahead. Reach away.
So I want the Rattler to pull some Rattlers today, just up there in South Carolina.
Pull some Rattlers.
Good one, yeah.
Just like reaching like you would for brownies if somebody'd be nice enough to. Surely there's a tailgate within earshot.
Have you ever had the brownie with the chocolate chip cookies in them?
North entire box of cookies, and you want brownies.
Way too much chocolate.
What a quarterback you are.
40 seconds here. North Carolina is at NC State. UNC on the road, a 2.5-point favorite. Andy.
North Carolina State at home.
All right, Paul.
UNC, a road favorite. I'm going to go with the Chiz defense, North Carolina.
Very good. Will.
I'm with Paul, UNC on the road.
Jason.
My heart says North Carolina State, but my mind, my business decision.
My mind.
With 1 second left, I'm going with North Carolina.
All right.
North Carolina, there you go. All right, so Andy's on a limb.
That's fine.
Jason's
Been there
on
before.
a limb on one. Split on two. This is a really good week for this. Point value's double. We'll update you
Spread should have been
at the bowl game.
at the bowl game. That's hour number one of the show. Stick around. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Thank you, Auburn, for over 40 years of business. Since day one at Guthrie's, we've been serving up the best golden fried chicken fingers, hand-chopped coleslaw, crinkle-cut fries, and our signature Guthrie sauce. Often imitated, never duplicated. We have 4 Auburn locations to serve you, including South College and our downtown location off East Glen Avenue, which is open until 3 a.m. every night. Fresh, hot, and fast. That's the Guthrie's promise. To find the nearest Guthrie's to you, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
Thinking of medical school? Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Auburn has award-winning medical education and research programs. VCOM partners with Auburn University for student activities, research, and sports medicine physicians to care for Tiger athletes. VCOM is providing tomorrow's physicians for Auburn and the surrounding communities. Find out more at vcom.edu. That's vcom.edu.
Hey Auburn fans, it's time to stretch those legs and reach for another bag of Golden Flake. Home or away, with family or friends, you know no game day is complete without your favorite snack. So enjoy Golden Flake or any of our other delicious snacks from the Utz family of brands and sit back for the rest of the game. Golden Flake in Auburn football, a winning team. Simple Southern goodness. Golden Flake, celebrating 66 years as the official salty snack of the Auburn Tigers.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
All right, every year, Alabama Education Association holds the Be a Champion and Read contest. And this is a really cool thing. There's one winner from the Auburn side and from the Alabama side. And we have with us today the winner from the Auburn side, Miss Alyssa Hatchett from Beulah. Alyssa, War Eagle, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let me move this microphone a little closer to you. All right, so you are the winner of the Be a Champion and Read contest. Any idea how many books you read?
6.
6 books. All right. Of those, which was your favorite?
Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web. And if you had to kind of sum up the book for our audience here, how would you do that?
It's about a pig and a spider, and the spider helps the pig stay alive.
That's wonderful. What grade are you in?
5th.
And who is your teacher?
Mr. Jenkins.
Mr. Jenkins. All right, and what's the school?
Beulah Elementary.
Beulah Elementary School. Are you looking forward to the game today?
Yes.
Have you been to an Auburn, Alabama game before?
No.
This is your first one, so you're super excited. Who do you have with you today at the game?
This is my sister, Autumn Hatchett, and this is my mom, Delina Hatchett.
Autumn, welcome. Miss Delina, welcome. This is awfully exciting. You should be very proud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being with us. Also joining us on the show is Dr. Susan Williams-Brown, President of the Alabama Education Association. Dr. Williams-Brown, thank you very much for being here. This is an exciting contest every year.
Yes, it is. It's very motivating for everyone, our educators and our students all across the state of Alabama.
Any idea how many submissions that we had this year?
This year we had over 35,000.
Wow.
And that was over 210,000 books read in the months of September and October.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having us.
Stay tuned. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Get your game day started with the CB&S Bank Countdown to Tip-Off on the Auburn Sports Network. 30 minutes before each Auburn basketball game. Get a breakdown of the matchups, player profiles, a 60-second scout of the opponent, SEC report, and our exclusive pregame interview with head coach Bruce Pearl. CB&S Bank has been family, community, and financially strong since 1906. The CB&S Bank Countdown to Tip-Off, only on the Auburn Sports Network.
It takes hard work to be the best in the game. Planning, commitment, resilience, sweat. That's why Old Dominion Freight Line, the #1 national LTL carrier for quality, works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of Auburn Athletics, helping the world keep promises.
Don't you mean fa la 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 la?
Nope, we're shaking things up.
Whatever you say.
Shake things up this season at the Toyotathon sales event. Lease a new 2024 Toyota RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 24 months, plus $500 holiday bonus cash. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid through December 5th, 2023. Well-qualified lessees with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. 3638 do-it signing. No security deposit. With select equipment, $350 disposition fee. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
Every team has great athletes, but the ones that come together and have each other's back win the rings. I am Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 613, and we are Auburn's electricians. We're a group of over 5,000 highly trained electrical workers who have each other's back every day. We train together, work together, and look out for each other. If you're an electrical worker, come work with people that have your back. Join us at IBEW613.org, War Eagle.
This is the Auburn Sports Network, and it's time for another hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage. Conecuh Sausage is the official sausage and hot dog of the Auburn Tigers. Straight ahead, more special guests and features, and a breakdown of the X's and O's as we move closer to kickoff. Here's Paul Ellen to start another hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show.
And welcome back outside Jordan-Hare Stadium, east side, just across from the Cam Newton statue. And we welcome you back with a former SEC Player of the Year, Kerryon Johnson. Joins us here. Kerryon, War Eagle, thanks for taking time to be with us. We appreciate it very much. And, you know, I got a list here of all of your records, and if I read those, you wouldn't have time to talk much about it. So let's just say he's sixth all-time in rushing yardage for Auburn. He's tied with Brent Fullwood for the single season record, and he has a whole bunch more records. But we want to talk about some of the games and some of your memories of being here at Auburn. Let's just start with that 2017 stretch run. Huge part of that stretch run and that team. That's one of those teams that just got better and better and better, and then some things fell into place. But, boy, by the end of the year, there wasn't anybody much better than that team.
Yeah, that team was very good. We have very good leaders. We have especially on the defensive side of the ball, that's kind of who kept us in it the whole year. You know, we lost that LSU game that we shouldn't have lost earlier in the year. And the defensive leaders just came to us on offense and kind of put the blame on us. And it was our fault. So as an offense, we responded. As a coaching staff, they responded. And the rest of it, you know, we just, you know, we don't like our destiny being in anybody else's hands. So we did our best to win as many games as possible. And at the end of the year, we'll see what happens. So,
what was the biggest aspect of improvement offensively from that LSU game to the Georgia and the Alabama games at the end of the season?
Yeah, we just started doing what we were supposed to do. You know, the offense isn't complicated. Football isn't complicated. It's about blocking, tackling, and running, and we just started doing that better than other teams. So on our offense, we just all got together and just decided to, you know, what we were trying to do wasn't working. We were trying to do it our own way, and it wasn't getting us where we wanted to be. So we just bought into what the coaches were coaching us and what they were telling us to do, and, you know, it ended up working.
Kerryon, y'all came into that game in 2017. You beat the #1 Georgia team. Then the next week you had to prepare and get up for the #1 Auburn team. Talk about, like, having to get up 2 weeks in a row, because it always used to be Georgia then Auburn.
Yeah.
And then they started putting a game in between now. But just talk about the aspect of how y'all feel like y'all going to come into the game and dominate it, because y'all had a huge rushing game, and y'all just dominated the line of scrimmage against a really great defense.
Yeah, we just didn't have any fear. There was no fear in us at all. We respected everybody, but we didn't believe anybody could really beat us. Like I said, earlier in the year we lost to I think Clemson as well earlier that year.
First game.
Like we knew that the losses were on us. It was nothing that the other teams were doing. It was just our execution and our determination. So we had no fear. Whoever we were going to play, we were going to go out and smack them in the mouth, and that's what we did.
Talk about the guys that you were running behind up front for that group.
Yeah, so we had Braden Smith, who went to the Colts. We had Marquell, who went to the Bills. We had Mike, who went to Panthers. We had AG. We had I'm missing somebody. We had Prince Tager, went to the Chiefs. So my job was pretty easy after that. You know, they were an excellent group of guys with a lot of playing experience. All of those guys had games in 2 or 3 years, if not started every year. So my job was really easy. I just had to let them work and do what they do and lean on people. And, you know, I'm still really good friends with most of those guys today just because of the bond that you build with your line is special.
Ronnie Brown was just here a minute ago. He was the first Wildcat in the NFL. He is given credit for kind of inventing the Wildcat. You became maybe not the first, but the most prolific Wildcat back that I remember at Auburn. You didn't throw a lot of passes, threw one or two, but not very many. But boy, when they came to you and said, "This is what we're going to do," and I remember the Missouri game. What did you score? 5 touchdowns in that game?
Something like that,
What went through your mind when they said, "We're just going to snap it to you and let you find a hole"?
Yeah, I mean, it's like backyard football. Everybody deep down wants to be a quarterback. I mean, you get paid all the money, you get all the advantages in life.
Oh, he knows.
You know how it go. Everybody wants so.
Look, he got the cookies. They were supposed to be in the middle of the table.
The running backs, you guys don't get cookies. I don't get cookies.
Quarterbacks, we get the blame if something don't go
right.
Yeah,
that is true.
You know what I'm saying? So.
But I loved having that one little play of command. Just feeling like, hey, this is my offense now. Getting to tell everybody what to do, call out the play. And now for Coach Malzahn, now being a quarterback is a lot of pressure. You mess up once, you're done. But it was awesome, man. I enjoyed it, and I had a blast doing it.
Coach Freeze, about midway through this season, was talking about Jarquez, and at times he almost ran too hard. He wasn't patient to find the hole. I thought that was one of the best aspects of your game. You had patience to find the hole.
Yeah.
And what was the key to that for you?
It's all about making the right read, and but the problem is the right read doesn't always provide the best results. You can see an open hole and you rush through it, and those holes close quick, and you get 2 or 3. Or you can let the play develop a little bit more, go to my second or third read, defense out of position and things like that. Now I go for 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. So in terms of Jarquez, I've absolutely enjoyed watching him run for it's been 3 years now, something like that. But he could have worked on his patience earlier in the season, and he has been doing that, which is why he's been going crazy the last few games. But he is a very hard runner, very low center of gravity, and he's very hard to hit, and he can hide behind his O-lineman because he's so small. So he's been getting better every game, and I think he took what Coach Freeze told him to heart, and he's learned from it and gotten better.
Carry on, you've been on the player side, now you're on the coach's side.
Yeah.
Now, talk about, like last week, that was a tough loss for Auburn.
Yeah.
From a player perspective, talk about how do you come back from that in a game like against Alabama today. But as a coach, what are you saying during the week to get these guys to flush that one, but prepare their minds to come out and play a game today?
Ooh. So player side first, I'm probably going to come out pretty pissed off, honestly.
Yeah.
I respect every football team. I respect New Mexico State, but at a university like this, that's not supposed to happen. Especially, if you lose double overtime, no mistakes, they played their best game. Hey, that happens, but that's not supposed to happen here. That's not the standard. That's not acceptable. So as a player, I'm coming out firing on all cylinders. If I mess up, it's going to be 110 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coming out hot. Now, as a coach, you do have to flush it. You do have to make sure that they're looking ahead to this game, which is probably part of the problem. So now you got to focus on doing everything right, because this is a decent football team. They're not what they have been in the past. They're not what they have been even last year, but they are a good football team, top 10 in the country, and it's going to take execution to beat them. So you got to come out, or you think last week was bad, it'll happen this week as a coach. So you got to make sure these guys are ready to go.
You're back home. Tell us what you're doing these days, and Jason alluded to it. So you decided to come back and work with the young men.
Yeah, so I'm doing player development over at UNA with the football team, and kind of help wherever I'm needed elsewhere too. So basically what I do is most of my time goes to freshmen or people who are new to the state, for sure, new to the area of Florence and things like that, acclimating and getting used to being in college. College is a big change for a lot of men. I know I went through the same thing. You're away from home. You got no responsibilities other than yourself, putting yourself towards the task. Your parents aren't there. Coaches are always busy. So trying to help these guys stay on task, keep their mind clear, focus on football, focus on school, and focus on life, and just make an easy adjustment. That's mostly what I do for everybody, but most of the younger guys are the ones that struggle with it.
Well, you've been through it, and you came through it very well. We got a lot of Kerryon Johnson memories. There's so many, too many to think about. But thank you for the thrills you gave Auburn fans, and thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. I
War
appreciate
Eagle,
it.
War Eagle. Kerryon Johnson with us here today. Well, Tiger Walk has ended. We see fans coming up the way. Of course, one of the biggest Tiger Walks of the season. And the Tiger Walk report presented by the Alabama Department of Public Health. They remind you, don't wait, vaccinate. Protect yourself and others by staying current on all recommended vaccines, including COVID and flu. Visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM. Stay with us. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
The Whataburger Jalapeno Cheddar Biscuit is back. But some folks have yet to try it. So let's not do the thing where we're like, "You've never had a jalapeno cheddar biscuit before?" You know what? It's okay. Let's just invite them to try this flaky, cheesy, and slightly spicy goodness for themselves. The Jalapeno Cheddar Biscuit, available as a sandwich or on its own from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. for a limited time at participating locations. Whataburger, just like you like it.
How are you the ultimate Auburn fan? Because I got this air horn installed in my throat. Pretty sick, right? Yes, you look really sick. What doctor would even do this? Doctor? I did this myself. I mean, I can't swallow whole food, but still. Wait, what? Just gotta plow through it. Hey, can I get a couple of soups up there? What about some chamomile tea? Don't be that guy. Get a fan card. The smart way to be the ultimate Tigers fan. Just go to auburncards.com.
As a coach, you don't just put any player on the line. You've got to make the right choice and recruit the right people. Train them, give them experience, and coach them up so they're ready when you call. I'm Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. And that's how we feel about our electricians. Our electricians are recruited, educated, and trained on the job to become the top 1% of electricians anywhere. So we're ready when you call. Make the right choice. Hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW613.org.
Who out there likes chicken and eggs? Both are protein-packed and loaded with essential vitamins and minerals to keep you healthy and your immune system strong. Start your morning with a delicious omelet with all your favorite fix-ins. Or have some grilled chicken for dinner. Here in Alabama, we produce almost 500 million eggs a year. You just can't beat that. However you choose to enjoy chicken or eggs, remember, they're good for you and great for Alabama.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
A quick reminder, the Auburn Tigers put their trust in Auburn AV every home game for the best fan experience, and so should you. Bring the football game day experience home when you have Auburn AV design and install your home entertainment system. As the preferred audiovisual provider of Auburn athletics, Auburn AV has what you need. Learn more at auburnav.com. Quick check now, the Yellowwood scoreboard. They are almost to halftime in Ann Arbor, Michigan leading Ohio State 14-10. Ohio State with the ball and driving. It's a tight one in Louisville. The 10th-ranked Cardinals lead the Kentucky Wildcats 10-7. They have reached halftime. Down in Baton Rouge, Texas A&M continues to lead LSU. It is 17-14, and that is the halftime score in Baton Rouge. Indiana leads Purdue 14-12. Middle Tennessee over Sam Houston 10-9. Both those games at halftime as well. UConn beating former Tiger opponent UMass 19-0 there at halftime there. In the ACC, an interesting game at Duke. 10-10. Pitt and Duke are tied there at halftime there. Particular ramifications in that game for the Duke Blue Devils. UCF down in Orlando leading Houston 13-10 there at halftime there. SMU blowing out Navy 42-7. That game almost at halftime as they play out in Dallas. And Troy and Southern Miss in Hattiesburg 14-10. Troy leads that one in a tight one at the Rock. A reminder, we'll have more scores updated and the student gates open. A beautiful day for football here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
There's a new feeling on the Plains this year. New coach, new staff, new players. Because Auburn knows that if you want to be the best, you've got to hire the best. I'm Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613, Auburn's electricians. We train our members to become the top 1% of electrical workers anywhere. It's why we are the best electricians in the world and why we would like to work on your next new electrical project. If you want to be the best, hire the best. Hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW613.org. War Eagle.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Joe Witt Jr.
I'm dyslexic, so I started off school, and when I go speak to different schools, I try to, bring it back down, because when I first come in, everybody says, oh, he's an NFL coach, this, that, and the third. So I always start, I say, y'all know that classroom at the end of the hall where the kids that y'all laughed at? That's the classroom that I was in starting off. And so it brings a a level of the kids that are in those classrooms or the kids that are struggling in school. It gives them the opportunity to open up and listen. But at the same time, I was class president, National Honor Society. I won every award at Auburn High School, and it wasn't because I was just a great person. It was because of what my parents did for me.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
Saturdays in the South mean football and outdoor projects. And when it comes to outdoor projects, nothing beats quality John Deere equipment from a team you can depend on. That's why we trust Sun South, where owning the best equipment made is easy and affordable, whether you're working on your lawn, camp, farm, job site, or even ball field. For all your outdoor equipment needs, visit Sun South with 21 convenient locations, or shop online at sunsouth.com. Sun South, equipment for those that do. Sun South is the preferred tractor dealer of the Auburn Tigers.
And welcome back to the Tiger Tailgate Show. Paul Ellen with Jason Campbell. And before we get started with a very special guest, a reminder, Jack's is bringing a sleigh load of bacon to its Southern favorites this holiday season. If you want to take a sandwich and make it better, just put bacon on there. The big BLT, the chicken BLT, and the bacon double cheeseburger, you can order it online at eatatjacks.com. Gotta have bacon. Well, our next guest.
Gotta have bacon?
Yeah, gotta have bacon. Going into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame, you probably know him as a college coach. If you're from the Great White North, you may know him as a Canadian Football League coach, but he coached for 22 years in the state of Alabama before he joined the Auburn Tigers, and the man knows everybody in the world of football. Coach Philip Lolly, first, congratulations on the Hall ofAme, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Philip, what did that mean to you?
Oh, it means a heck of a lot. High school's where I got started, and when you're recruiting in the college level, you better know all the high school coaches. You better have a good relationship. So, yeah.
Well, when you came to Auburn, you were not on the 9-man staff, so you technically didn't recruit. You were the strength coach. What led to your decision to leave the high school ranks and decide to join Tommy Tuberville's staff and be a strength and conditioning coach and be a college coach?
Well, I'd known Tommy for a while. Back when he was in Miami, I would go down and every spring and spend with the Hurricanes when they were really a good football team,
sure.
right? And so I got to know Tommy, got to know Sonny Lubick, Coach Johnson, that bunch. And, the connections is where it's all about, and they knew I was there every year to learn football, so we got to talk a lot.
Yeah.
So he always kind of talked to me about hiring me, Tommy did, but at that time, I'm in the state of Alabama and got a daughter that, was on the insurance program and the pre-existing conditions and all that. So when he came to Auburn, it was easy. I mean, because my son had graduated here at Auburn. I love Auburn. And it just worked out. Yeah.
That was great. It was great to have you come in here and be a part of that staff. How long before you became a full part of the staff and could go recruiting? Because obviously knowing every high school coach in the state of Alabama and most of the ones in Mississippi and Georgia was a real benefit.
Sure. I was there 1 year working with Coach Yox on them,
right?
And strength and conditioning, and loved it because that was always a big part of my coaching career was strength and conditioning. And then 1 year, Coach Penunzel he left the staff,
right?
Went to Murray State, then Coach hired me at that point because I've been here a year, in conditioning. We condition, but we and we were a little different then. You could get away with getting, coaching them and getting after them. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, those hour rules, supposed to be 2 hours per week in the summer, is really a hidden 4 hours around there somewhere. Coach, you coached in these games. You've been a part of the Iron Bowl for many years, and as a player, I know what it's like to prepare to get ready for this game. But as a coach, I've always wanted to ask, coach up close that's inside the locker room, but having to break down the film, what's different? Are you hiding things weeks before leading up to the Iron Bowl? Are you saving something, or is it just a different mindset once you hit Sunday morning and you turn it on, it's time for Iron Bowl week?
Well, in this league, you better prepare for the team that you play next. You better not look ahead.
Right.
We kind of painfully know that, right?
Exactly. And people used to say, well, how long did you prepare for Alabama? I said, well, we prepare for them 365 days a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in there looking. So if we find a team that we're going to play before Alabama, and let's say they run 3 or 4 of Alabama's favorite plays, so as we're scripting that week, we might throw a little more in there of them plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because we know we got to see it next week, but it's the same thing that the other teams are running. So we didn't change. We just added a little more to get ready.
Philip, it's 64 degrees and sunny today. What is the coldest in the CFL that you have coached in?
Well, we won the championship up there, and they said it was minus 41.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. I know it's the coldest day I ever remember. And I
How
couldn't
many
even,
layers?
Well, as many as I could get on.
Yeah.
And
you look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
but my lips actually would not allow me to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have great hand signals.
Goodness.
Because after about 3 quarters, I'm gonna be honest. I was like some of the guys. Let's win this thing. Get out of here. I mean, let's get out.
That should be illegal.
Get the lead and run it 30 straight times.
Exactly. Exactly.
Coach, 10th anniversary of the Pick Six. Everybody knows where they were in the Pick Six, but every picture of that north end zone, you're in it because you got your arms around Chris Davis. You and Chris Davis had a pretty special relationship going back to his high school career. Tell us about recruiting Chris and talking Coach Tuberville and the staff into taking Chris and that whole story.
Yeah, well, Chris, I had a good friend, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Jeff Holland, and he knew some people there that were officials. So he calls me and he says, "There's this kid playing here."
At Huffman, I believe, right?
Couldn't find any tape or film, and said, "But we want you to look at him." I said, "Well, I got to get film." So Tommy Thigpen was recruiting that area. So Tommy went and got the film, and I looked at it, and I said, "This guy can play. I want him. I like this guy." And so then we had to convince the rest of the staff, of course. And but Chris came in here, and I looked at him. I said, "Man," I said, "he's their guy. If they need to return a punt, he's the guy returning the punt. If they need to return a kickoff, he's there. He makes great plays on defense. He shows closing speed." I said, let's take this guy. And we did, and the rest is history, kind of,
Nice decision.
Had a great career. And if he never does anything else in his life, the kick six will last forever. He's still the single greatest play, I think, ever in football.
Where were you? What's your perspective?
Well, that particular year, I was doing the pro liaison job and the high school relations job, and we just changed, over. And actually, I was on the sidelines, not allowed to wear the headphones or anything like that. But as this thing unfolded, we saw it happening, and then we saw the people coming onto the field. And actually, what happened is the press that was down there, all of them started hollering at me to, "Coach, come quick. They're on him, and, come quick."
Didn't want him to suffocate anyway.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I go out, and I don't know if they realized how dangerous it was at that time when it first happened, but I'm just trying to get him out to keep him from getting hurt or smothered, and trying to get his thoughts together. And, but we had that relationship, and I'll just never forget how he handled it afterwards with class and character. And, but I just went out because they asked me to come. They was hollering for me.
Well, you're immortal now, too, because you're in every one of those pictures. So that's good.
I'm glad it was the way it happened,
So when is the induction into the Alabama High School Football Hall of Fame?
It's supposed to be April, and they said they would get back with me and give me the details. I really don't know any of the details.
So you'll just show up when it's time?
Yes, sir. Yes. Do what I always do. Just be where I'm supposed to be,
You gotta wear a tuxedo?
That's what they tell me.
Good. I don't think I ever seen you in a suit, Coach.
You will look great in a tuxedo.
I just don't know if I got any boots to go with it.
That's right.
So you headed back to Canada, or does that run its course?
No, I think it's run its course.
Minus 41 will run its course real quick.
Yeah, and but the difference in the shots, taking the COVID, we don't want to get into that politically, but I did not want to take the shot.
Okay.
And so that was another main reason is they wanted me to. So.
Quickly, Jason.
I was just going to ask you what Auburn got to do today to show up and win this game.
Well, one thing, you don't want to play it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We've all been through that. I remember one year we beat Georgia out here. And I believe we could have beat anybody in the nation. If you'd have brought them in there right after that, we'd have put it to them. I mean, we were that good. But the next week we decided we was not going to let the Bama game slip away, that we was going to work just as hard, and we was going to work very hard that week, get the guys' mind. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd have killed them, I believe. I mean, we were playing – at practice, it was lights out. But I never looking over at Coach Witt. And about Wednesday, we noticed that the pep in the step wasn't quite what it's supposed to be. And we had worked them so hard, you know, and that was a mistake by the coaches. And, you know, I'm blaming everybody. And we overworked them. And the pep in the step, I remember they come out there before the game and it looked like they were stepping that high, and we were kind of dragging.
Yep, you were walking in mud.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. And we learned a lesson. But the next year we come back, and that's when we had, you know, no running backs.
Yeah, 0-2.
But, we turn around the very next year, and I don't think we was out there over an hour at any practice that week. And we said, we're going to have their legs. We're going to, you know, boom, boom, boom. And you saw how
you
that
learned
worked.
a lesson, reeled off, six straight after that. Coach, congratulations on the Alabama High School Football Hall of Fame. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate everything you've done for Auburn throughout history. Coach Philip Lawley here with us.
War Eagle.
Coming up in about 5 minutes, Carlos Dansby will join us when the Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
In football, it's important to call the right play. In life, it can be even more important to make the right call, especially regarding termite protection. To protect my home, I called Cook's Pest Control and got the Centricon system. You don't have to live with termites. For a free quote, make the right call. Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
Saturdays in the South mean football and outdoor projects. And when it comes to outdoor projects, nothing beats quality John Deere equipment from a team you can depend on. That's why we trust Sun South, where owning the best equipment made is easy and affordable, whether you're working on your lawn, camp, farm, job site, or even ball field. For all your outdoor equipment needs, visit Sun South with 21 convenient locations, or shop online at sunsouth.com. Sun South, equipment for those that do. Sun South is the preferred tractor dealer of the Auburn Tigers.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Paul Ellen with you back outside Jordan-Hare Stadium with Will Herring. Will, let's talk about crowds, about the emotion of this game and how much difference a crowd can make. We saw last night the Oregon crowd really had an impact on their rivalry game with Oregon State, helped them get out to a big lead. There's no doubt about that. What does a crowd mean to a player on the field?
100%. I mean, we saw it just now. I mean, hours before kickoff, the student body, I mean, they were up here almost to the booth, anxious to go in and get a seat. The energy, the atmosphere that we're about to walk into at 2:30 kickoff, it means everything. And then just from a logistical standpoint, from a timing standpoint, and offensive players that cannot communicate verbally or hear the snap count, our crowd noise is such an advantage.
We have seen it in particular games here, and other teams, other fan bases and other teams call it the Jordan-Hare magic. Maybe we're not as conscious of it, but this crowd, especially that southeast corner, really can make a difference.
No doubt, no doubt. It's easy to take for granted if you haven't played in other atmospheres to assume that every home atmosphere is like this place, but it's just not.
Yeah. It's a
special place.
It is a special place, and we'll see what atmosphere can do today. I just remember 2 years ago when Auburn was not a team that was ready to compete, and it wound up going to 4 overtimes. The Tigers had multiple chances to win that one.
Yes, sir.
All right, 10th anniversary of the Pick Six. A lot of anniversaries here as we get set for the Iron Bowl, Auburn against Alabama. Coming up as we continue to count it down. The student section already filling up as we get set to go in. Stay with us. More to come with Carlos Dansby. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Hey, it's Amanda, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is that they're so easy for the holidays. They're warm and flavorful. It's always a crowd pleaser. When I put down a nugget tray, everyone is happy.
Hey, this is Brian, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is the joy that it brings to me and everybody around me during the holidays. They're warm, juicy, and delicious.
Cater the holidays with Chick-fil-A today. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Ralph Jordan Jr.
The name Jordan is spelled like Jordan, of course. You know, I never knew the origin of that pronunciation until I started doing the family genealogy stuff up in West Virginia, where my great-grandfather was from. And the state archivist there in Charleston told me that it was a Welsh pronunciation, that the Welsh did not want to be confused with the Irish. So they took the Jordan and turned it into Jordan. Now, in the cemeteries and things around Salem and down around Benson Township, you will see it spelled Gerden, Jerden, Jordan, but all of them pronounce it Jordan.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
When we say we're an everything school, we mean it. Auburn University isn't just home to the best athletics program in the nation, it's also home to the best student-centered engineering experience in America. And that's not just a slogan, it's a promise. The Samuel Ginn College of Engineering ranks as the top engineering college in the state of Alabama, while also ranking as one of the best public engineering colleges in the nation. Tomorrow's leaders, innovators, and world changers begin at the Ginn College of Engineering. Visit today, eng.auburn.edu. Welcome back to the Tiger Tailgate Show. Tiger fans deserve the best. That's what they get with Sweet Grown Alabama. Find farm fresh produce, meat, honey, jams, and more that are perfect for your next tailgate. Find those at sweetgrownalabama.org. That is sweetgrownalabama.org. War Eagle. Tell you what, if you played for another team in the early to mid-2000s, the two guys on the stage right now would just strike fear into your heart, because I got Will Herring here, and we got one of the best to ever do it. Of course, Will's one of the best too. These guys.
I was good enough to be out there. Let's be clear. I was good enough to be out there.
No, you're a multi-year.
This was the man.
You're a multi-year NFL veteran too.
He is. He's a vet.
Carlos Dansby, one of the best to ever do it for the Tigers, also with us on the stage today as well.
Thank you, man.
These guys could pack a punch. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you for being here, War Eagle.
War Eagle. Boy, I'm glad to be here, baby. Glad to be here.
Iron Bowl. Yeah.
Iron Bowl, baby. Don't get no better, man. Don't get no better. I promise you it don't. All my experience in the NFL, the closest thing to it was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
By far, man. The energy, the atmosphere. Unless you go play in Cleveland. You go play in Cleveland, you're going to get this energy every week.
Really?
It made me felt just like home. Felt like Auburn University. The whole everything. The whole atmosphere. Everything. It was amazing.
All right. Woodlawn High School.
Yes, sir.
Memories growing up of the Iron Bowl.
Ooh.
Because when you were like a teenager, these games were always close every year.
Always close every year. Some of them in Birmingham at Legion Field, so I had a chance to experience that. That was insane. And just watching, some of the classics, George Teague and Lacey and all these different guys making plays, man. And some of the Auburn guys making plays. It was just amazing atmosphere, amazing energy, the bragging rights, everything that goes with this, man. It's top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier.
And then you got to play in the game.
Yes, sir.
All right. Your first game that you played in the Iron Bowl was 0-1, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the game Coach Lally was just talking about. You come off the win over Georgia, and he said maybe the coaches pressed a little too hard early in the week. Do you remember it that way?
Yeah, we was rolling. We was going real hard.
Yeah.
Real hard, man. We was trying to get ready because we knew what was on the line.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't lay an egg, but we ended up laying an egg. And, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Cadillac getting hurt. Cadillac getting hurt on the first drive after ripping off like a 30-yard gain doesn't
Exactly.
help
It don't help at all. It
Yeah.
don't help at all, man. And I think that was kind of hurt us a lot. You know what I'm saying? And it gave them opportunity to take advantage of, you know what I'm saying, us not being able to run the ball like we wanted to. Yeah.
Carlos, my memory of you was an upcoming, junior, or I was a sophomore, junior, senior in high school. You were a few years ahead of me, but watching a tall, slender, athletic safety that was like 6'4" out there making plays. By the time I got to Auburn, you had transitioned to linebacker, which kind of really paved the way of just that vision for me. And you were so instrumental to me when I was in high school, watching you play. When I got to Auburn, people talk about, or our guys talk about fear in Coach Yachts, our strength coach, the respect that we have for our coaching staff. To me, my fear and the guys I didn't want to let down were the leaders in the locker room. And it was people like you. It was people like Reggie Torbo. It was like DeMarco, who just stopped by. It was the guys that had paved the way before us. And so just from a younger, lower classman when I came in, man, thank you from the bottom of my heart for putting your arm around me. Because the guys lead differently.
Right.
Some guys lead by fear and by by asserting their will and basically, but you led by like loving and leading by example. You were a vocal leader, but I look at our great defenses that I was able to be a part of, and two of those defenses were me and you were on the field at the same time. We were a couple years apart. You were a couple years with me, overlapping. But man, I just appreciate you and love you from the bottom of my heart. Love getting to meet you, two young men up here.
Thank you.
I mean, these boys, they got some size to them, like
Yes,
their
sir.
daddy, and excited to see what they got too.
Oh man, no, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you just saying that. That means a lot. Because you never know who's watching, right? You never know who's watching, and you just try to go out and do the best you possibly can, be the best person you possibly can be. And I try to preach that to my kids, man. Just try to be great at what it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, and be consistent at it. You know what I'm saying? I think that was what really inspired everybody, was me just trying to be consistent day in and day out.
Right.
Yes,
I
sir.
mentioned that 01 Iron Bowl. Let's not forget, you come back the next 2 years. You have 11 combined tackles in 02 and 03 in a couple of huge wins for Auburn. Your memories of those two games specifically?
Oh, man. The only one I really remember is when we went to Tuscaloosa and beat them in Tuscaloosa. I think that was the best one by far because they didn't give us a shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then by us getting the opportunity to go in there and stone them on defense, you know what I'm saying, really rally behind our offense, because our offense was they sputtered most of the year. Right. Sputtered most of the year, but when they got in that game, it's just like the light bulb went off. Trey Smith went crazy. And we was just we was hovering, stopping the at that time they was running the option very well. So we played that up pretty good. I made a play on the option, then getting a sack. Like we was just flying around as a defense, as a team, and we was just feeding off each other, man. It was a great moment.
What does it mean to you to be a member of the 2023 Alabama Sports Hall of Fame class?
Oh, man, everything, man. It says a lot. For me to be able to be mentioned amongst some of the Alabama greats that ever come out of this state in every sport. You know what I'm saying? Track and field, you name it. You know what I'm saying? Just to be mentioned as one of the greatest athletes to ever come up out of this state, man, to be recognized like that is an honor. You know what I'm saying? And I don't take it lightly, and I'm just blessed to be in a position to receive that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about this Auburn team and what they need to do today to pull off the win?
Today, you need to over-communicate. Over-communicate on defense. Rally to the ball. Don't expect one person to make the tackle. Expect him to miss the tackle. That's the mindset you got to have on the defense. Expect him to miss the tackle, and you're going to make the play. Okay. You know what I'm saying? To change the game, because you flying in there, you may punch that ball out. And I was telling the guys yesterday I had a chance to talk to the team. I appreciate Coach Hugh Freeze for giving me the opportunity to speak with him, but I had to let him know, man, every snap will be in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Nobody really understand the magnitude of this moment, and I had to kind of drill that into them, not only them, but the coaches as well, because some of the coaches is their first Iron Bowl. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I had to let them know, man, every snap, every call will be in the Sports Hall of Fame. So you're already legends, but what did you want it to say behind your name? You already in. What did you want it to say? So go out and show what you wanted to say, man, and leave it out there on the field, because it's going to take everything you got to win this one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all the other games was just They was just getting you ready for this season because this is a whole new season now. Just this one game. From here on out, it's a whole new season.
And, Brad, this is a guy that approaches every rep, every game, every opportunity to I mean, he's a professional in all aspects. So when we would cross paths in the NFL before game, after game, he was always filling me in on the latest and greatest technology or recovery aspect because this guy lived in a hyperbaric chamber.
Yes,
and
sir.
So like, you know, the energy and just you've got this contagious personality. And I love that Coach Freeze is trying to instill a winning culture, not just winning a football game or 3 games in a row, but getting guys like Carlos back around the program and letting you pour into these young men. That's what it's going to take, is our guys understanding that, hey, this is the Iron Bowl. It means a little more, and trying to head in the direction where we have a championship culture.
Without a doubt.
If you're going to listen to somebody, you listen to somebody who had 1,400-plus tackles, played in 200-plus games, intercepted 20 passes in the NFL, no question about it.
Thank you.
Carlos, thank you for making us a part of your day. Hope you guys enjoy the game today, and it's good to see you. War Eagle.
War Eagle, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
The great Carlos Dansby joining us here on the stage. We'll step aside when we come back. Some matchup breakdowns here as we get ready for the Auburn-Alabama contest. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Conecuh sausage is a fan favorite for tailgating, always great on the grill, and it's the official sausage dog and hot dog of the Auburn Tigers. Conecuh sausage is made from the finest cuts of pork, their patented blend of seasonings, and smoked over a pure hickory fire for that true Southern flavor. Be sure to visit the Conecuh Gift Shop in Evergreen, Alabama, right off I-65 at exit 96. Enjoy a crowd-pleasing Conecuh sausage dog while watching the Tigers and make Conecuh part of your game day. Conecuh sausage since 1947, a real winner.
It takes hard work to be the best in the game. Planning, commitment, resilience, sweat. That's why Old Dominion Freight Line, the #1 national LTL carrier for quality, works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of Auburn Athletics, helping the world keep promises.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the tailgater who's testing the laws of physics with a table and a grill and 6 camping chairs all balanced on the roof of a small sedan. Make that 4 camping chairs. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? Get a rate based on you with DriveWise and the Allstate app.
Not available in California, subject to terms and conditions. Some states participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating, while in some states a rate could increase with high-risk driving. Safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tackle your to-do list this season and find the right Aetna Medicare plan for you in your home state of Alabama. With Aetna Medicare Advantage plans, you can get a $0 monthly plan premium with hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage. Plans also include dental, vision, and an over-the-counter benefit. Be the star quarterback of your health. Call us for a personalized coverage review now. 1-833-771-7542. TTY 711. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. RSNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Let's get a little jump start on our matchup segment here, Will, as we talk about the #1 key, I think, offensively, and it's that offensive line. Can they create holes for Jarquez Hunter? Can they give Peyton Thorne time to throw in passing situations? Gunnar Britton, Dylan Wade, Connor Liu, Avery Jones may be back in the lineup today. Cam Stutz, Too Tall Miller, Tate Johnson, Jaden Muskrat. A lot of guys on the field.
Yeah, can we remain balanced on offense? Can we make them bring in that extra 7th or 8th guy into the box so that we can then attack them vertically through the air? I think back to the Georgia game when we established a running game, and I think our quarterback, I think our receivers are playing better now than they were in that Georgia game. So if we can establish a running game and then also, and then cause Alabama to bring that extra guy into the box, it should open up things through the air.
Number of carries you'd like to see Jarquez Hunter get today for Auburn to have success?
I'd love to see him at 17 to 22 carries. And whether it's him or whether it's another one of our solid running backs, we've got to establish a traditional running game. And then the mix-up, the change-up, so to speak, will be our quarterback's legs He's shown that he's faster. He's a better runner than most folks have given him credit for going into the season. So if we can establish that ground game a little bit and stay balanced, that's going to be huge.
The football romantic would love to see Jeremiah Wright from Montgomery, Cam Stutz from Killen, and Brooks High have big games today for the Tigers, in-state guys.
Absolutely. It all starts up front. If you've got a tremendous offensive line paving the way, you or I could run through those holes, Brad.
We'd like to try anyway.
Yeah.
I think given the atmosphere in here today, I might gain a couple of yards today.
We give them 2 or 3 plays. That's right.
Sure. All right, more matchups next. This is the Auburn Sports Network.
People take their chili seriously. At Whataburger, we also put chili on a pedestal made of 100% fresh beef. The Whataburger Chili Cheeseburger, made to order with our own chili on 2 all-beef patties, melty cheese, onions, mustard, and crunchy corn chips. This is chili elevated to burger height. The Chili Cheeseburger is back for a limited time. Whataburger, just like you like it.
Thinking of medical school? Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Auburn has award-winning medical education and research programs. VCOM partners with Auburn University for student activities, research, and sports medicine physicians to care for Tiger athletes. VCOM is providing tomorrow's physicians for Auburn and the surrounding communities. Find out more at vcom.edu. That's vcom.edu.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the guy in post-game traffic watching the post-game highlights while trying to make a left turn out of the very busy post-game parking lot. Why would you pay a rate based on anyone else? Get a rate based on you with DriveWise in the Allstate app.
Not available in California, subject to terms and conditions. Some states' participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, a rate could increase with high-risk driving. Safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Conecuh Sausage is a fan favorite for tailgating, always great on the grill, and it's the official sausage dog and hot dog of the Auburn Tigers. Conecuh Sausage is made from the finest cuts of pork, their patented blend of seasonings, and smoked over a pure hickory fire for that true southern flavor. Be sure to visit the Conecuh Gift Shop in Evergreen, Alabama, right off I-65 at exit 96. Enjoy a crowd-pleasing Conecuh Sausage dog while watching the Tigers and make Conecuh part of your game day. Conecuh Sausage, since 1947, a real winner.
Could not ask for a more beautiful day for the Iron Bowl here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Brad Law, Will Herring, and we're going to continue to talk about matchups. And before we switch to the Auburn defense, let's stay offensively. Alabama's got a couple of exceptional cornerbacks. Their secondary has been good for over a decade since their head coach has been there. Auburn's receivers, you got to find somebody to win one-on-one matchups. We know Rivaldo Fairweather has kind of been the number one guy. Somebody else for Auburn in that receiving corps has to step up today.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, somebody whose name's not Rivaldo has got to make some plays through the air. They do have a strong secondary. Their 2 corners. I mean, what a name, Kool-Aid. What a cool name. Terrion Arnold, another great corner, and then this freshman, strong safety, true freshman. He leads the team in tackles. What's he got? 90 tackles on the year.
Yeah.
Caleb Downs, just a playmaker. So through the air or on the back end, they have a strong unit, which is why we can't let them just tee off on. We've got to stay ahead. We got to stay on schedule. We can't wind up with 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10s. We've got to be able to run the football and come up in come to those manageable 3rd and short situations.
Especially with our old buddy Kevin Steele coordinating the defense, and Travaris Robinson, a former Auburn player, helping with the defense as well. Those are some guys that are familiar with Auburn. Auburn has some familiarity with them as well.
That's right. Two Auburn guys and great coaches.
All right, moving to the other side of the ball. The last handful of games that have been played here at Jordan-Hare, the defense has had a significant role. The game here 2 years ago, Auburn had a chance because the defense consistently put pressure on Bryce Young. The 19 game, as high scoring as it was, there were 2 pick sixes in that game. Defense got pressure on Mac Jones. And then in 17, the most dominant effort by the Auburn defense in this series in over a decade against Jalen Hurts and the Auburn offense. So defensively, you got to have pressure today.
Yeah. These Iron Bowls that take place in Jordan-Hare, you feel like a continual thread into those games is our defensive front and the physicality that they tend to bring, even when at times they have been inconsistent. And so, like, I'm excited to see what is our front four going to do against Alabama's offensive line. And they've got a true freshman playing at left tackle, Caden Proctor, who was one of the most highly recruited guys in the country. Struggled a lot early in the season and through midseason, but he's gotten a lot better down the stretch.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting. But he is still a freshman. It'll be interesting to see how our edge pressure guys match up against their offensive tackles.
How similar is Jalen Milroe in terms of build and running style to, for instance, a KJ Jefferson, who Auburn saw and frankly had a lot of success against a couple of weeks ago?
I think he's just a lot faster than a KJ Jefferson. KJ's a big physical guy who has a lot of yak, a lot of yards after contact. Milroe, you a lot of times you don't touch him. There is no contact. So you do have to strategically change how you rush the quarterback, and you can't just pick an edge and run 7 yards upfield, allow him to step up and take off.
I look across the defensive front. I see Marcus Harris from Montgomery. I see Keldrick Falk, Highland Home. I see Jason Jones, Calera. These are guys, and I think that matters. Well, I mean, I know I keep kind of beating that horse, but I don't think it's a dead horse. I think it matters. Yeah. I think that when you're from the state of Alabama, you understand inherently what this game is, and you see that motor cranked all the way up. And guys like Marcus Harris, Jason Jones, Keldrick Falk, Jalen McLeod, Eugene Asante, it's not enough just to get to the Alabama quarterback today. If you get to him and you don't make the tackle, all you've done is created a 20-yard running lane.
That's exactly right. I think it's vital to have guys in the locker room who grew up understanding that this game just matters more. I mean, you just heard the passion come out of Carlos's mouth as he talked about, growing up in Birmingham. This game was circled on the map months and months ago. And so having your leaders in the locker room like a Marcus Harris, like a Jason Jones, that have been talking about this game for months and putting this on the schedule so that these young guys or guys that were born in Virginia and other parts of the country just understand, like, hey, this game matters more. And so, I'm excited. Like, I've had buddies text me asking about the energy. Like the energy's here. Our crowd, our fans are going to bring the noise, and I'm excited to see our defense get after them.
If you're looking for an easy, seamless transition to Auburn University, Southern Union State Community College is something you should consider. They're conveniently located only a few miles from Auburn. Southern Union offers classes that easily transfer to the university. Endless opportunities are right up the road. As good as the Alabama secondary is, the Auburn secondary does not take a back seat. You like one-on-one matchups. If you're Auburn, with the cornerbacks that you have on this team, you love the way the safeties have played. The secondary's been a strength of the defense.
Yeah, no doubt. Defensively, we've got to stop the run. We've got to make them one-dimensional. We've got to contain their quarterback and make him beat us with his arm.
Yeah.
They have some really good weapons through the air on the outside of the receiver position, but I love the strength of this secondary. Nehemiah Pritchett, DJ James, a lot of snaps. Jalen Simpson continues to be around the football. He's got 4 picks this year. He caused another pick at LSU just with a ball that he batted up in the air. Jalen is kind of like you cannot predict where he is. He's like a Troy Polamalu. He may show cover 2 and wind up in the middle of the field where it's a quarterback you assume, he's out of the read now. And we got to get back on the turnover train. Last week was the first week in a long time we haven't gotten a turnover, so we need to shorten the game. We need to create a few possessions and get the ball back for our offense.
Both teams feel pretty good about their special teams as well. Will Reichert, the place kicker, and James Burnip, the punter for Alabama. Obviously, Oscar Chapman, Alex McPherson, those guys have been strengths for Auburn this year as well. So can there be a play to be made in special teams today?
I hope so. 2 weeks ago, Keontae ran a ball back. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. And if I'm not mistaken, Alabama, Caleb Downs just had a punt return last week. So 2 explosive special team units looking to flip the field is going to be very important.
How your motor, how much higher will it rev once you step on that field here in a little while?
I'll be able to answer that after the game. I'm trying to just stay level keeled and not peak too soon, Brad.
All right. Will, thanks. Look forward to hearing you down on the sideline. War
Yes,
Eagle.
sir. War Eagle, buddy.
All right, that'll do it for the Tiger Tailgate Show presented by Conecuh Sausage. We thank our guests, former Auburn assistant Philip Lally, along with Tiger standouts Carlos Dansby, Bob Harris, and Kerryon Johnson. Now, stay tuned for the Outdoor Alabama Countdown to Kickoff, which features more matchup analysis, the SEC report, lineups, interviews, and more ahead of today's Iron Bowl. We still have one more 2-minute drill. We'll check scores. We'll thank you again for listening to the Tiger Tailgate Show presented by Conecuh Sausage.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for... Aw, Jim.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
We're still on the air.
Hello, this is Coach Hugh Freeze. They say